YouTube channel. I'm back here again with another sports card collecting and investing video. And today we're going to be talking about, whether it's the time for you to buy cards or sell cards. The market has just been fluctuating. It's been going everywhere. The playoffs are, they've caught fire. The Mavericks just got eliminated. The Nuggets, they're about to play the Jazz here and see if they can maybe force a Game 7. But a lot of players that were very high in demand have just been going down and down, and that's just the trajectory. Now that they're not, on national television, a lot of people are just, trying to get their focus towards, the players that are on national television. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this topic. If you are brand new to this channel, guys, make sure you do hit that like button, comment on this video, and tell me what you think, as well as subscribing and turning on those post notifications. I put on about 3 videos a week, give or take, depending on my schedule. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started in the video. And if I'm talking right now, pretty much the market, how I've been looking at it, it is the perfect time for you to start selling your cards. As far as if you have players that are not in the playoffs right now, or they just got eliminated, it is the perfect time for you to start selling those cards and start thinking about next year. The reason I say that is because it looks like just after, I'll use an example. If you can see a series, if you can depict a series after 2 games, typically that's when, you'll know. I mean, sometimes you won't, but I would say after game 2, if your team, if the player on your team is up, 2 games to nothing, then, you're pretty confident right there. I would say, if you're up 2 games to nothing, and let's say you're a Jazz fan, you're a Donovan Mitchell investor, so you're pretty much a Jazz fan at that time. If they're up 2-0, obviously they're in 3-2 now. They were up 3-1, but 2-0, I believe the demand after that, from what I've seen, the demand on the other team, like if you're a Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. investor, the demand will start going down. Once they start losing consistently, once they're on the verge of elimination, you can already see that trajectory just start slowly coming down. For example, I had some Michael Porter Jr. cards, and I was really hoping for him to have a great series, at least just show, hey, this I'm coming. And it's not like I wanted him to drop 40 every night or anything like that. I just wanted him to have 1, maybe 2 good games of dropping like 28 or 30, just so, he could hit that peak price, and then I was going to sell at that peak price. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. Now, no matter what, I spent about 60, 70 bucks on his PSA 10s and 9s back in April. So either way, I wasn't at a loss whenever I sold my cards. But, from the scrimmage games, from the bubble games, his cards, they hit that peak where, you could have got a base prism around 500 bucks. And, 450. Now they're, back to 250 to 300-ish. Same with, like, the Silver Prism PSA 9s, and the same with the Silver Prism PSA 10s. But, yeah, that's how I feel about, selling. I think that, if you're all in on a player and they are down 2 games to nothing, typically, it's going to be hard for them to come back from that 2 games to nothing. Not to say it's impossible. I mean, obviously, we've seen great comebacks. And, this league is unpredictable. But, I would say after 2 games, if you're I'm going to say hypothetically a Damian Lillard investor, they're right there after down 2-0. They're the 8th seed, 1 seed. The odds aren't in their favor, unfortunately. And all this notion about, somebody being too old for you to start investing in them, don't listen to it personally. Damian Lillard, for example, you could have got his rookie prism for almost $2,000. Like, this whole notion of, you want younger players to invest in long term. I mean, it's just crazy how Damian Lillard, I was talking about him at the end of June when he got on the 2K21 cover, and how he was about $400 to $600 PSA 10s. And, they hit, I think, almost 3K. And that's just ridiculous, and people forget, I think Damian Lillard's 30 now, I believe. So, I would say just stay away from that notion that, it's too late to invest in a player or something like that, because you can still flip. There's going to be a lot of players next year that I believe, based on how the market is just reacting right now to the bubble games, if everything goes well next year and, the season happens, there's going to be a lot of players next year that you're going to see the same thing that happened to Damian Lillard. these vets that come back and they start putting on shows. Now I'm gonna go to the buyer side now. I think it's the perfect time to buy cards too. So don't think that me saying, hey, sell now, that's not my final answer. It's time to buy cards too, guys. It's the perfect time for you to buy cards. I would say start already looking at next year. Trae Young, for example, Kevin Porter Jr., if you're high on him. Stephen Curry is coming back, guys. We can't forget two-time MVP, NBA champion. Klay Thompson is coming back. You got, the NFL is coming. So the NFL, if the season pans out, right now is the perfect time to pick up football cards. Whether it's any position, because right now, any position except for defense, at least I would say personally right now. I think running backs and wide receivers, they're going to become so in demand based on, like I said, based on how the basketball market has reacted to, players just going insane as far as their card prices after one great game. Guys, for example, if Julio Jones goes out and catches 16 passes in one game and has 200 yards, get ready for those rookies and stuff to start pumping up. It's literally gonna feel like fantasy, guys, but with money. So I would say right now is the perfect time to buy cards, whether it's NFL, think about next year's players that weren't in the bubble, and then the players that were just in the bubble. For example, Zion. I'm gonna just go over a couple lists here that I have written down. Zion, De'Aaron Fox, Ja Morant, Rui Hachimura. Luka just got eliminated today, so we're gonna probably see a little dip on him. Now Luka, I'm not gonna lie, he is just incredible. This looks like somebody that he's probably gonna run the league for the next 15 years. Based, if he can stay healthy, if Porzingis can stay healthy as well. I had a feeling that something was wrong with Porzingis because he kept saying there was a sore knee. I just didn't buy it personally. I knew there was more to the story, and then we got the report 2 days ago that he tore his meniscus. So unfortunately, it is unfortunate what happened with Porzingis. I think Luka does need Porzingis, and they were really good. They were really competitive against a great Clippers team. But that man Luka is something else. Damian Lillard for next year, I would say now that the Blazers are out, you've already started to see that ladder pretty much drop on him. Kobe White, somebody who went super high right before COVID, and unfortunately the Bulls were just not a great team. A couple other people, guys, just already start planning towards next year and getting the rookies from this year that aren't in the bubble or already were eliminated. Like, for example, back to the De'Aaron Fox thing. I remember after his 2 bubble games, you could have got PSA 10s for like 300. They're back at 200, 215 and stuff like that. So expect for those prices to drop. And when I was doing my PSA submission video to you guys, that like 11 card lot, unfortunately I just sent off the wrong cards, and that's just my mistake. Not to say that there won't be any profit there, but I sent off a Rui Hachimura, I sent off a couple John Morants, Zion, and they're just gonna keep going down in value just slowly. It's not like they're gonna just go crazy, but they are gonna decline in value, I believe, because they're just not in demand. They're not on national TV, and we just have to wait till next season to see them. So I do feel at a loss for that, and I learned my lesson personally. I should have sent out. I had a bunch of other cards that I could have sent in, like some quarterbacks and stuff, because any quarterback is now getting in demand because the NFL season is getting pumped again. So, and then another thing, guys, soccer cards. If you're a soccer fan, wow, soccer is going ridiculous. It's going nuts right now. And I think soccer is still very undervalued. So I do recommend you guys looking into soccer cards, whether it's, first year sets like 2015 Select. Look at the first year optic of, and you want to go for established players, Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, Neymar, Lewandowski, Eden Hazard. You want to go after those established players already. And I think like right now, a bunch of players that are very undervalued are still the legends that haven't played. Like you can get 2002 stickers of Ronaldinho You know, the Brazilian Ronaldo as well, stuff like that. Like, you know, players that just aren't in the league, like that are not currently playing, like Zidane, excuse me. He's just not, you know, playing anymore. But these are just greats. Iniesta, Xavi, Puyol, all those players, you know, I think over time they're just going to keep going up. You know, if you're a soccer fan, you know who I'm talking about. If you're not a soccer fan, sorry to give you guys, you know, these soccer players, but I think right now their cards are very undervalued. But you know, now we're going to go to the card ladder here. I'm going to show you guys the trajectory of some of these cards just to show you that it is a buyer and a seller's market. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check the ladder, guys. Alrighty, guys. So what we're going to be going here over is the card ladder. So I just want to show you guys just some examples of it being a buyer and seller's market. Right now, it's the perfect time for you guys to be buyers. I'm going to type in, you know, De'Aaron Fox here. Let me see if he's on card ladder. Yep, he is. So base PSA 10s, check this out, guys. If you can see the card ladder, we're going to go through the 1 month. So, you know, like I said, when he was in the bubble, you know, August 7th, you could have got it as high as 350. You know, it hit his peak. Here's, you know, the very start of the bubble, 282. But this was its peak, you know, a week in. And now, I'm going to just go to current day, 224, guys. 262, but 224, 240. I mean, very, very, it's just crazy how much it's dropped. That's almost $100 here within less than, you know, 3 weeks. Big one, Rui Hachimura, guys. We're going to look at Rui Hachimura. We're going to look at his silver, because silvers are always what goes up the most, and they were so in demand, and that's why I wanted to submit that one to PSA, and unfortunately, you know, they just went down a good amount. Check this out, guys. The restart, him at his peak, 725, 740, and then he went down just a little bit, and as you can see, just keeps dipping and just dipping. 345 back to 515, but then I'll just use current day, 515. But as you can see, this card is still attainable, I believe. I mean, that's almost a double difference in price. You know, 415 literally 3 days ago. So as you can see, you know, it just hasn't grown, and it's just going to continue to go down. I believe probably by the time I get this prism back, this silver prism, if it comes out of PSA 10, this card right now is 515. I think I'll probably be able to sell it. Just predicting, maybe, you know, in the high 300 range, because I just think he's not going to be in demand yet. Let's go ahead and start with Michael Porter Jr., guys. So we're going to go with his silver PSA 10 because that was the one that went berserk. So during the restart, you know, 522. Then whenever he, you know, had those great games, his peak was right here. Check this out. Almost $2,000 August the 8th. $1,911 August the 8th. That was the peak. And it looks like everybody's peak is really on August the 7th and August the 8th. Now, obviously, you know, 822, 1,500, but since he's had some decent games, not too many good ones, somebody bought this for $761, a PSA 10. This card has fell off almost $1,200, guys, within, what's today? That's literally within a month, within 3 weeks. So, I mean, that's just, I don't know what to say here. I want to go here and see. Typically it'll tell you. I'm still trying to work on card ladder, guys, so I do apologize. But let's go now to Zion Williamson. Zion, obviously, and I was very shocked that Zion fell off as much as he did. Zion, you know, in the limited minutes he played, guys, he was going crazy. And I do understand he looked a little out of shape, but in the minutes he was producing. And I think people overlooked that, honestly. And, you know, I do believe that the way that they handled him during the bubble played a big factor into Alvin Gentry getting fired. But I'm very excited still for Zion. I think he's a great pickup. I think for you to pick up I think it's the perfect time for you to pick up his raws, his raw prisms, optics, and mosaics. If you can pick up select, that's great too. I just think he's a buy now. Within the next 2-3 weeks as well, like like when we're in the Western Conference Finals or in the finals, you know, Zion is going to be the last person on your mind. It's either going to be, you know, somebody from the LA teams, Giannis, Jason Tatum, who knows who's in the finals. You know, nobody's going to be really looking at Zion Williamson. So I still think this card has so much downward growth. But check this out, guys. I mean, you could have got him. Everybody's peak, like I said, was really on August the 7th. So, well, we'll just go before the bubble. 842, that was on season opening night. So that was the peak there, pretty much. 850, almost $900. Today, guys, 630. Not to say he's dropped off dramatically, but $200 within a month, you know, that's a pretty big drop from a month. And considering what he did in the time he played, I was very surprised that he fell that much. Now, a lot of people were really doubting him too, and you know, I don't understand why. I think he did really good for what he was given. Next, we're gonna go with Luka, guys. Luka, we're gonna go with the base PSA 10. So this one fluctuated a lot, but since Luka was going berserk, especially with that buzzer beater, I mean, it was just ridiculous. So Luka, you could have got this one for $1,162 on the season restart day. Then Luka starts going crazy here. Look, August 7th, August 8th, everybody starts going crazy for him. 1,923. The peak of this card hits 2,146. And that's a pretty big price. And that was before the playoffs. So once he made that shot, I'm assuming that was this day, 1,900. It went back up again. But as you can see, people were doubting, and they were assuming that the Clippers were going to win this in 6, which I was as well, you know, with no Porzingis. So it's obviously went back down to 1,600. And I think, you know, within the next 2 weeks, maybe Luka goes back to 1,200, maybe even 1,000. And, you know, I'm still pulling myself for not pulling the trigger on these and thinking more about the Pop Report. But honestly, I'll have another video on Pop Report. And I just believe it's a thing of the past, or not really a thing of the past. I just think a lot of people are disregarding it, and I was wrong on my part saying that the Pop Report would be important, at least now. I do think later on in the future, though, the Pop Report is going to play a factor in some cards. But right now, guys, I would say disregard the Pop Report personally. Like I said, I'll have another video on that one. Let's go with Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard was going nuts in the bubble, and you know, you can see it here. Look, before the restart, guys, you know, 950, you could have got this, and then right before playoff time, you know, he was doing the play-ins and stuff. The playoffs started on August the 15th or 17th, something like that. So this was right before their play-in, and look at that, $3,000, guys. $3,000, pretty much. Damian Lillard. And just to see how, you know, I think, let me see here. Yeah, still at that price of $3,000. And then as you can see here, it just keeps dropping and dropping and back. $1,200 today, guys. So, I mean, I like Damian Lillard a lot. He's a great player. I just think Portland needs more. It's not that they really need more, too. It's just that the West is so stacked. And it's just crazy how good the West is. But as you can see, guys, and I think Damian Lillard will still be a great buy for next season. I think I didn't think, personally, when I was watching Damian Lillard in this bubble, Damian Lillard has always been a great player. He's always been a star, superstar as well. You know, he's always been a top 10 player to me. He proved to me that he's potentially a top 5 player. So I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Lillard is in the MVP race. So, you know, next year is going to be pretty crazy. I think Damian Lillard has a chance to potentially still win an MVP. But, you know, it's really just that the West is so stacked and there's so much talent coming up. But let's go with, let's see who's in demand. This is more of the, I'm trying to think here. Let's look at Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, guys. So Jason Tatum, base PSA 10, because he's still in the playoffs. I was showing you the sell now method. So now I'm looking at the buy now method. So 770, that was August the 2nd. You know, the peak it hit was 1,164. Obviously, it mellowed out a little bit, and I really don't understand why. Jason Tatum's been going pretty crazy in these playoffs. And I've been telling people, I think they're going to the finals. They torched the Raptors today, and I think they're beating the Raptors in 5 games. But, I mean, 870, I think that's still undervalued. You know, if I personally think any player that is going to be in the conference finals out of the, you know, whether it's Giannis, whether it's Jason Tatum, whether it's Jaylen Brown, those players, once they get to the conference finals, I think that's the perfect time to sell. Just for me personally. Like, for example, I have some Jason Tatum cards. I think they'll be in the finals. Just my gut says they'll be in the finals. But if they don't, you know, I just think selling before the conference finals is the way to go because, you know, I can't really bet on Giannis either. Let's go with Jaylen Brown here, guys. August the 2nd, you know, $950. You could have got his Silver Prism PSA 10. And Jaylen Brown's been going pretty crazy lately. 1,575, and then a couple days ago, 1,500. So, you know, these are just players that are still in demand, guys. So I would say these are still decent buys. I will tell you, here's for example, buying now. If you want to see players that have just went up within the last few days, I'm gonna just show you guys NFL. You know, the demand for NFL. Look at Drew Lock, guys. A month ago, he could have got his base PSA 10 for $347. Football is beaming back up. I mean, this is up almost $100 now. Let's look at Gardner Minshew. If he's in here. He's not in here, actually. Dang. He needs some more love. We'll go to Patrick Mahomes, base PSA 10. Let's go with Optic. We don't even need to look at Prism. Optic actually has not been on that high trajectory. It's actually still on the same side. Let me see here. Who's a quarterback? Let's look at Carson Wentz. Maybe he's in here. Yep, he is in here. So Silver Prism. As you can see, he's fluctuated a little bit. You could have got this 440. I mean, now it's at 854, so it doubled in a month. Like I said, guys, the NFL is coming back. You know, people are looking for those NFL quarterbacks. Let's go ahead and look at Dak Prescott just to show you guys. I mean, quarterbacks are just going up in demand because, you know, hopefully the NFL season does kick off. 550 PSA 10 Silver Prism. I mean, right now it's at $1,000, so it's almost doubled. And I'm going to keep expecting this from, you know, football players. And then the same thing with baseball players. Baseball players is a buy now because, you know, the baseball season is, you know, going on every day. And it's a 60-game regular season. So, you know, these players are going to be out there playing their hardest. But that's just an example, guys, of everything that I think, you know, buyer or seller's market. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Let me know what you're thinking of this video. You know, I'd like to get your feedback. There's a lot more players that I wanted to talk about, but I don't want to, you know, take up all your time. I have a PSA submission that I actually sent off in June, and it should be here tomorrow for the Mail Day Monday, guys. So I'm very excited to show that to you guys. But that's pretty much going to wrap it all today, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.